So I'll
Yeah.
record it. So we're recording. All right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Now then, would you like to just reiterate for me, please, Megan, what is it specifically that you want to work on today? Because I know that you've had some breakthroughs with a friend of yours, which sounds great, So you've seen things moving forward, which is fantastic news. So did you want to just like fill me in on that and just let me know, what has shifted?
Yeah. Well, what I want to focus on today is sort of getting into a mixture, if you will, of color therapy and hypnosis, especially the hypnosis, and figuring out what is the primary source of this negative belief system or catastrophic belief system that's holding me back from being able to what I call adventure drive farther.
Yeah,
So, I tell myself, Megan, for example, and I'm not going to talk a lot because of my throat and
sure
everything,
thing.
but I tell myself, Megan, as I was telling my friend last night, I say to myself, you used to drive all over the place. I used to drive on what you call the motorway. I used to drive all the way to Canada. I used to drive all around Canada. I used to drive from one city to another city and drive from this town far away to that town far away. And I tell myself, you're perfectly safe, especially if I'm driving and I have my friend with me, for example. And I tell myself this and I say, and I've listened to like $5 hypnosis tracks before. I've done the EFT tapping. I've done all this stuff. And still, I'll get in the car myself and I'll go adventure driving, which I did take a very long break from, but I jumped back into it in March. Just a couple months ago, I jumped back into adventure driving back in March because I was like, other people's advice wasn't working. I'm just going to give it a go. And I would get myself a little farther, or I would try maybe even a new direction to challenge myself. And I would get all crying and shaking, and it still occurs. I get all crying and shaking, and I have to put music on to distract myself. And to be quite honest with you, I worked with this woman named Susie, and I spent thousands, and I'm not better. And I told my friend, I have a friend with me tonight, and I told him, I said, I've worked with you before, Hayden, and you're actually more helpful and you charge a fraction of the price. And that's saying, that's definitely telling something. But to get to the point before I completely lose my voice, is the fact that I shouldn't have these catastrophic thoughts anymore. I should be able to get in the car and drive several towns away, or even get in the car and be able to drive, 20 minutes away. And like my friend told me, baby steps. He's like, you don't have to drive an hour each direction. But to be able to drive 20 minutes away where, the shopping plaza is and all the fun stuff is, and then basically all the fun stuff is 20 minutes away. That's why I want to do hypnosis. I want to get to the core of what is this catastrophic thinking and remove that blockage and where in the body is, or where in parts of the body, is these catastrophic thought processes coming from, so that we can remove them, so that when I get in the car, I don't go, oh, what if this is going to happen? What if this is going to happen? Or, being like, oh, here comes that point I haven't driven past. Prepare for the handshaking, prepare for the crying, prepare for, no, I want to be able to get in the car and go, I remove those blockages. I'm all right. And I'm going to drive farther, and not only drive farther, but I'm going to, perhaps go to lunch in this town and stay for a couple hours.
Hmm. So it's interesting, isn't it? So what you're saying to me is basically it's almost like a repetition, isn't it, of what you always say during the sessions that we do. because it always seems to be the one big thing that's holding you back from really experiencing more freedom in your life. So we've tackled this from many different angles now, haven't we, together? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know the work that we've done, over, probably the last year or so, we've been working together, maybe even longer than that. And yet this it still persists, and it doesn't
Well,
matter.
I think it's also like you said, it's been actually a little over a year,
Yeah.
but it's also been long spaces in between because,
Mm,
I don't make that type of monetary, money
sure.
to work with you consistently. But we've also, like you said, we've tackled it from different angles. So we have tried different methods, and some work for other people very well, but they don't, for me, it didn't quite work. So I was doing some research and I heard this can work. Finding the root, where is the catastrophic thought? Where does it originate from? Because what I, on a conscious level, may think it originates from, we may discover that's not the true source, or we may discover that it's multiple sources that are the original problem.
I
And
think so.
somebody was saying, and somebody was saying to me today, this Asian lady from California, um, gave me a free, little advice, which was very helpful. She's a psychotherapist, she's a psychologist, and she said, or whatever she was, but anyway, something of that sort. And she said, find where in the body it's coming from. And I found that to be an extremely interesting response.
Hmm. Well, as you know, like Megan, over the sessions that we've done together, we often go into the parts of the body where the limiting belief that you've formulated that's causing the experience that you're having. So we've touched upon that a lot in the sessions that we've done. So what's happening is you kind of, sometimes you're ready to hear things and other times you're not ready to hear things. So until
It's
you're ready,
interesting. It's interesting you say that because quite honestly, I completely forget. And I know we've recorded sessions in the past, but I completely forget that we've done that. What part of the body?
yeah,
It
we've
almost
lots of times.
shows that there was, like you said, some type of mental disconnection
Yeah,
there.
I think so. Yeah. So, from what I'm hearing, is that there is almost like potentially a shutting down of information that you're receiving during sessions because there maybe was a part of you that's just trying to keep safe. That's often why we don't hear things or acknowledge things. It's because you either don't feel ready to receive the information or it doesn't feel safe to receive that information. So it's almost like the mind blocks it out. So it's interesting to hear that, you say these things because, through a lot of the sessions that we've done, we've not only identified what the limiting beliefs are, and we've tackled that from numerous different perspectives, but we've also done the inner work as well. So we've been through several very deep processes where we've led back the emotions within the body so that you've gone back to source and then brought that wisdom through and into the body and into the limiting beliefs. We've addressed the wounded aspects of the inner child that formulated the beliefs as well. So we've done a lot of the precursory work to work on the driving fast syndrome. But what I'm hearing you saying is that you still believe that there is a catastrophic, sort of event or belief that's creating this that we haven't yet found. So that's
Yeah,
always
it
that's always
seems
a
like
possibility.
yeah, very multi-layered.
Yeah,
And that was something that I was told by the woman that charges a lot of money, said the same thing. It's very, very multi-layered because you're dealing with, my parents being extremely controlling and, it like a whole bunch of layering.
there
But
is.
yeah, I'm not gonna really say much more. I'm gonna completely
Yeah.
so
Okay. So how did you want to start the session off today then, Megan? Because I know that you like to have some form of input into, how you like a session to go. Would you like me to share the mirrors with you first to see what's going on, or would you like me to ask you some Socratic questions to be able to identify what the limiting beliefs are that are maybe creating this issue with your driving fast syndrome?
um my intuition is telling me the second.
Okay, great. All right. So what I'm going to say then is based around what you've just said to me, you know,
I'm just gonna shut the TV off quickly because it's distracting me.
yeah, sure thing.
Sorry.
Okay. So what you've just said is you've just described what this problem or limitation is that's been holding you back for a while. And it's, it's always the same thing that comes up each and every time we speak. But what is it that you feel that you like based around from today's perspective, what do you feel that you either have to do, have, change, or accept that will make this not such an issue for you, do you think?
Oh, well, the first word that came to my mind is trust.
Okay. So how specifically?
Being able to trust people. Because I'll give you an actual example.
Okay.
I say I'm going to go adventure driving, okay? And I'll tell my parents, I'll give you a call if I need. And they say, okay. And you know what happens? I call and my mom once again is intoxicated, or I call and their phones are off. And that has occurred multiple times before. So there is not illogical reasoning behind my lack of trust. There's prime examples behind my lack of trust. The other thing I need is I need a set plan. Other people, they can more free. So I, because I'm also have Asperger's and have being neurodiverse does change things as well. I need it to be like, okay, I'm going to go to, for example, Orchard Park. That's a town not too far away. That's where the movie theater is and the shops are and and the restaurants. It's a fun place to be. And I just say, I will go there. We'll go see a movie. We'll get a bite to eat and come home. That is it. I need the trust and the consistency that that will be it. But a lot of people are not like that. They'll go, oh, look, there's this going on. Oh, look, there's that going on. And all of a sudden, the plans in place have now changed. Oh, we're going to stay out longer. Oh, we're going to now leave this town. We're going to go to this town. Or, okay, well, we saw the movie, we saw this, but now there's a whatever else event going on. And for me, that's like a total lack of trust and a total lack of set in stone plans and a total lack of consistency. So I feel very afraid to try to, adventure drive or to go to another place because in the back of my mind I'm thinking I might stay out, might be forced to stay out longer because other people get excited about something that they notice. The problem is I've explained this to like I've explained this before to others, including to well, including to a counselor who was of literally no use. And they said, "Well, why don't you just take a lift back?" You know. And I say to them, because as a woman, especially at night, even though I know martial arts, I do not feel comfortable going back by myself in a lift. I mean, are these people truly properly screened? Other people don't think that, but I do think that. And so I could say, well, call your parents, they'll pick you up, but I'll go back to the whole trust thing. They have said, yeah, you can give us a call if you need. And what has happened multiple times? They don't answer their phone. Their phone's off, or I'd lose reception on my phone. If it's a windy day or something, my phone, like yesterday, my phone was terrible. I was trying to call a company. I had to call them over and over and over again until the phone worked. So you have reception issues. You have my mom intoxicated. You have them not answering the phone. But I will tell you one thing is that I feel much more comfortable to try to be in, for example, Orchard Park, because it's not too far away from East Aurora, but it's still most definitely out of my comfort zone. And my mom's, my parents' friends live there. I know I could probably get a hold of them. My mom's cousin, who I get along with very well, and I have her phone number and I have her husband's phone number, live 10 minutes away from the movie cinema and the shopping plaza. Now, if it's late at night, nobody's coming to help. But if it's in the daytime, they most likely would be willing to. But if I try to go somewhere far, I think I would definitely bite off more than I can chew. Also, it would be much more expensive to get home. Also, the bus, as I mentioned to you before, is basically non-existent almost here. It's a horrific, awful bus system. And nobody's gonna come pick me up, you know. So I do like, so that's the whole thing. I'm getting a little bit long-winded, but that is the whole thing. And I
Yeah.
know I've mentioned some of this before,
Yeah,
but
you have. And it's interesting because it's always the same things that you say, So for me, as an observer, it always comes back to you not trusting people, that you need organization because of your Asperger's. You're afraid that there could be something catastrophous that happens, such as, you get into a taxi. I mean, what is that fear of you getting into a taxi with someone? What's the worst case scenario? What's the fear? What might happen if you were to do that?
well, the chances of this are extraordinarily rare, but a feeling that they won't, I'll sort of look out the window and be like, you're not going the direction of my home. You're going the opposite direction.
So is a fear
Where are
of
you
a fear
taking
of being
me?
out of control and being kidnapped, is it? Is it a fear of
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the chances of that are extremely rare. And like I said, I would be calling like, my parents or my neighbor friend Barb, or I would be calling, my mom's cousin Elaine, obviously first. But like I said, they're not gonna come unless it's nearby, like Lancaster, Orchard Park, these towns, Lancaster, Orchard Park. Yeah, they very likely would, but not if you're going farther away. And also that's if I can trust that they'll answer their phones.
Yeah, so it's almost like because you don't trust that people will be there to support you, then instills this fear that something terrible may happen to you. Yeah.
Yes, because my friend he went to go watch TV, but I mean you can he in another room, but you can hear throughout the whole home here. Um, you know, he asked me years ago, well, why don't you go to this event with me or that event with me or a museum or a dance or something? And I would love to, but the problem is the whole thing again. Oh, just yes, give us a call, dear, if you need. And what happens? The phones are off. Mom's intoxicated. Dad's fast asleep. So the reliability and the trust is
Yeah.
unfortunately not there. The other
Okay.
thing too is, sometimes people will say, oh, well, this has happened before. People say, oh, I'll pick you up. And they don't. They say, oh, I'll be there. And they don't. Oh, another thing, one more thing. I'm sorry. With the Lyft rides. This is another trust issue. And thank you for reminding me. Several times they have canceled at the last minute. I used to go out, and I noticed back then my anxiety was building. And part of why the anxiety was building and caused trauma that's still stuck in me is because right before at the last minute, these Lyft people would cancel because they didn't want to drive to my rural town. They want to drive around the city. They don't want to drive to my rural town. So how do you think that made me feel when, oh, look, I'm on taxi, Lyft number 5. It's trying yet again for over an hour. Now my battery is at 20%. My phone battery is at 20% as I try yet again to find someone else and hope to God this time, crossing my fingers that this person's not going to cancel on me. So it's a whole lot of trust issues.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's about the you don't trust people to keep you safe.
Yes, because of past experiences.
Okay. So,
Trust
okay.
me.
So then what's really stopping you getting into the car and driving?
Well, one thing that I notice is that when I'm about to do something, such as practicing to adventure drive, or other examples as well, I get very sick. I get whether it's a chance to adventure drive or an invitation to, do an event or something. I get sick. My body gets so extremely stressed that I end up getting horrific stomach aches. I mean, extremely horrific, like 9 out of 10 horrific stomach aches. Or I get, a small flu with like sinuses and cough and sore throat and all that.
So you get stomach aches, you get flu. So is that what's really stopping you then? Is because your body reacts in a painful way?
Well, it's a major component because I feel miserable. I have brain fog. I feel queasy. I feel like I just feel like I want to sleep. Like today, I only had one meal. That is it. I had one meal, and it is already 20 to 11 over here. And other than that, no appetite. I made myself some goulash. I had a cup of yogurt, and I've had some water. That is the only meal I have had since I woke up in the early morning. I have no appetite. Like, I do not feel well. And what do you do when you don't feel well? You just want to sleep.
Hmm. Okay. So, all right. So there's a few things going on there then, isn't there? You've got the trust issues, that you need consistency and you need like a plan, and if you don't have that, then you don't feel safe. You don't trust people to be there. You're scared as well that maybe something dreadful is going to happen to you. You either get abandoned or that you're going to get kidnapped or something dreadful is going to happen. And of course, you also get your body gets physically sick. You feel miserable, you get brain fog, your stomach, you get stomach symptoms, flu symptoms. So there's lots of reasons there, isn't there, why you shouldn't get into a car and start
Well,
driving, yeah?
yes, and I also get that catastrophic feeling of I'm gonna have full-blown panic. I'm gonna have full-blown panic because I've had it before.
Yeah.
So I just, I expect it. And the thing is, sometimes I'll take a shower and I'll give myself positive messages over and over and over as I shower. I am confident. I can do this. I will be all right. I will have a great day. And I'll say it over and over. I get in the car, boom, all of a sudden. Oh no, what did this happens? Oh no, what did that happens? But it's also, going back, the number one thing really is, well, the number one thing though is a fear of panicking because I've had it before,
Yeah.
like full blown. And that's the biggest reason. And the second is the lack of trust because people say things like, "Oh, I'll pick you up." And they don't pick you up. If anything were to happen, um,
Are
you know,
those
oh,
two are those two things connected, Megan? Do you think?
yes, they're definitely connected. Also, I've had some times where I I'm not trying to make excuses, but it is true. I've had some times, even with my brand new car, where I put the key in the ignition and it gets stuck. And you have to wiggle the wheel to get it to work. This is another thing. My brain goes, you're lucky that you're in East Aurora or you're nearby in Elma, that if the car won't start because the keys jam, you can at least walk to Barb's house, or you can at least you know, get on foot to your own home. So my brain thinks, oh, what if the key's jammed and I'm all the way in such and such place and I can't start my car because it's stuck and it won't move.
Yeah.
So
So
all these
technically,
different
it's all
thoughts.
of the technical stuff as well. Like it's not only people that
Oh,
let you down, it's technology, it's machines, cars, everything is just going to conspire against you to prevent you from being able to feel safe. And that's going to drive you into a state of panic, right?
that's how I feel. It might not, I'm sure it wouldn't be everything at once, and
Yeah.
the chances of being kidnapped are extraordinarily rare, especially when you're a martial artist,
Yeah.
but the thing is, within that list I've given you, I my brain just said instinctively 90% chance that at least one of those things would happen
Mhm.
when I'm out.
Yeah.
And my friend said to me, "Well, what if it happens?" He goes, "It's not the end of the world if you get stuck out." I said, "Yeah, but see, the difference is I'm hypoglycemic. I will get very low blood sugar if I don't eat in time. I have to which is funny because today I've only had one meal. But when you don't feel well, your body doesn't want to digest much. But
Okay.
for me, no, no, I need consistency. I need
Yeah.
truth. I need a set plan that actually stays in place.
Hmm. Do you think you're likely to ever get those things in place? Do you think that's likely to ever happen before you embark on a journey? Do you think you're going to have all of those things lined up before you get in a car?
Before I get in the car,
What's the
well,
likelihood that all of those things will remain in place?
I'm honestly not quite sure. I mean, I used to drive all over and I would be all right. The main thing to eradicate is this fear of having full-blown panic because I used to drive all over and not have a problem, which is why I really want to get into, doing closing my eyes and doing more of a hypnosis thing with
Yeah.
you
But
because
what
I
we're,
want it
what
to
we're,
come from
what
the
we're doing at the moment,
subconscious.
Megan, we need to identify what the limiting belief is so that we can know where to target. So we're going to be quite quick. I think what I want you to do is I just want you to tell me what is it that you must believe that makes this problem exist?
What must I believe that makes this problem exist? The answer to that is that I will have full-blown panic if I'm outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, so you must believe that you're going to have full-blown panic if you're outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yes, and it won't be 5 minutes. It'll last for hours. I'll get terribly ill, and I will be afraid to go back to that particular place because it'll only stir awful memories for me.
Yeah. So what must you believe about yourself specifically that makes this problem exist?
Well, my subconscious mind quickly said that I lack self-confidence.
Of course. Okay.
I was not expecting that answer, but that's the answer that came up from my subconscious.
Yeah. So you lack self-confidence. You must believe that you lack self-confidence and that
And
if
my
you,
subconscious is telling me there's more to it, but it's saying that that's all it's giving me for now,
yeah, of course. Okay.
currently.
And what must you believe about everybody else that makes this problem exist?
I shouldn't be laughing, but it says that they're untrustworthy.
Yeah. So you must believe that people are untrustworthy, you've got a lack of self-confidence, and that you will have a full-blown panic attack when you're outside of your comfort zone. So these are the core beliefs that are creating the experience, right?
Yes, and the mistrust comes from previous examples of, their phone being off, them being intoxicated,
Yeah.
changing plans at the last minute, and Lyft rides deciding to cancel on you because God forbid they have to drive to a rural town.
Okay. So your brain has gone straight to the evidence. All right. So you've found evidence. This is true. I've got evidence. So it's reinforcing the beliefs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is this whole problem an example of?
Hmm. That's a good question, but that's an extremely challenging one to answer. What is this whole system showing? Can you repeat it
No,
one more
what's
time?
this whole problem an example of?
I need time to think. I apologize. What is this whole, what is this whole problem an example of? Sorry, I'm keeping you waiting. What is this whole problem an example of? Not trusting God, not having enough uh, preparation in place for myself, a fear, a fear some medical problem will occur. That's another thing too. I quite often, you know, I notice whether I'm having OCD symptoms or I'm adventure driving. It'll tell me, oh, if you don't do this, you'll have a heart attack. If you don't do this, you'll have a heart attack. So, for example, when I'm adventure driving, it'll tell me, oh, if you go farther, you'll have a heart attack. Oh, if you go farther, you have a heart attack. Or say I'm washing my hands. It'll say, oh, if you don't wash your hands for a certain number of seconds, you'll have a heart attack.
So what does that
So
mean?
it means that, well, I'm giving you answers that are coming from my subconscious. It means that ego is in the driver's seat.
100%. Okay. So ego. So what's that all an example of?
That my ego's too big and it needs to fuck off and move to the side. I really honestly don't quite know.
Okay, so it could be an example that you're listening way too much to the ego, the fear-based ego mind that's
Yeah,
catastrophizing, that's sending you into the role of the victim, right?
yes, the role of the victim. And I was telling my friend last night that 2 years ago, because this whole teasing me, bullying me like that has been going on for years. And one time I was adventure driving and I told it, you're stupid, I won't listen to you. So you know what I did? I drove a little farther. I was very proud of myself. But the only reason I turned around eventually, not too much long afterwards, is because it kept bullying me with the same comment. Now, logically, I know that you're not going to have a heart attack if you wash your hands a little shorter or a little longer, especially a little shorter. I know you're not going to have a heart attack simply because you drove past a red barn instead of turning around before the red barn. But when your mind is bullying you like that,
Okay. So what's that an example of?
not having self-confidence, letting other things that aren't spiritual, that aren't holy control me.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, what do you think?
No, this isn't about what I think. This is about what you are creating. So what you're saying,
I think I have asked ego several times to move to the side. I have had conversations with my ego telling it that it's not in control. And I think that the fear is feeding ego, and ego is gotten, as the phrase goes, what's the phrase? Too big for its britches. Ego, like, your body needs fruits and vegetables to eat. Ego needs fear to eat.
okay. So this is then an example of a battle between ego and spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
I do think that is true.
Okay, so just close your eyes for a moment. All right. And I want you to tell me when you're thinking about this now, I just want you to go into this battle between ego and spirit that exists within you. Whereabouts in your body do you feel this battle between ego and spirit right now?
Right part of my forehead
Okay, so I want you to
and
breathe.
back of my neck.
Okay, so I want you to breathe deeply into this battle between ego and spirit that you're feeling in those parts of your body, in your neck and in your head. Breathe deeply into this battle, this inner battle that you've got between your ego and your spirit. Breathe deeply into that. And I want you to feel that battle. Okay. And I want you to give me an emotion that's connected to that. What's that emotion that's connected to this battle that's going on within you?
Fear and anger.
Okay, so feel that fear and that anger as fully as you can at this moment in time, Megan. Don't run away from it. I want you to breathe deeply into this fear and then into this anger. Breathe deeply into it. Give yourself permission to feel this fear and this anger as fully as you can right now. Really breathe deeply into it. Don't run away from it. This is your opportunity to feel this at this moment in time. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not very much and 10 being loads, how much are you feeling that in your neck and in your head right now?
9.
Okay, good. See if you can raise it up to a 10. Breathe deeply into it, Megan. Don't run from it. Feel that fear and that anger. And now I want you to imagine climbing to the top of an ancient wall within you. Get right to the top, Megan, and look over the top of this fear and this anger that you're holding in your neck and in your head. What is the feeling or the emotion that sits just behind that?
I can see myself at the top, but I'm sprawled out, laid down in full-blown panic, and I can't get myself up. I'm just collapsed on the floor and feel very dizzy, very wobbly, quite dizzy.
Okay, so just breathe through that, Megan. Just breathing through that. I want you to have a look and tell me what is the emotion that sits behind the anger and the fear. Look behind it. Take a flashlight with you if you need to.
I see very evil things. I see more fear, scary images. I see taunting, bullying, just a whole bunch of negativity. I see like ghosts, but they're scary looking. I see people taunting, pointing, laughing. I see more fear.
And
It's
whereabouts do you
not
feel
like
this taunting, this bullying? Where do you feel this in your body right now?
my left ear, my left side of my head.
Okay, so I want you to feel this taunting and this bullying in the left side of your head as fully as you can right now. Don't run away from it, Megan. I want you to feel this taunting and this bullying that you're feeling in the left side of your head, feeling it as fully as you can. Don't run away from it. Breathe deeply into it. Raise it up to a 9 or a 10. I don't want you to run from this. I want you to feel it right now at this moment in time. And now, once again, I want you to climb to the top of your ancient wall, this ancient wall within you. Climb right to the top, Megan, and then look behind that taunting and that bullying. What is that feeling or emotion that sits just behind there?
Sadness and crying, but I see a woman like a ghost woman or something spiritual trying to give me flowers and give me peace. But I see myself in tears. I see myself in grief, but she seems to try to be consoling me.
Okay, good. So I want you to tell me, where do you feel this sadness and this grief in your body right now?
My whole front of my face and my shoulders here where I'm tapping.
Okay, so I want you to feel that sadness and that grief. Raise it up to a 9 or a 10 that you're feeling in your face and in the front part of your body. I want you to feel that sadness and that grief. Don't run from it, just allow it to come out. feel that sadness and that grief that you're holding in the front part of your body as fully as you can. Raise it up to a 9 or a 10. And then once again, I want you to climb right to the top of this ancient wall within you. Get right to the top, Megan, right to the top. And I want you to look over the top. What is behind? What's that feeling or emotion that sits behind that grief and that sadness?
Stomach queasiness and vomiting, horrific stomach aches that I've had before.
Okay, so what's the emotion that's there with the stomach queasiness and vomiting? What's that emotion?
Anger and rage, things that I wish that I could have told, and I've mentioned this before to you, anger and rage that I could have told bad people off before.
Okay, so whereabouts do you feel this anger and this rage? Where is that anger and rage where you wish that you had said something about to these nasty people? Where is that in your body?
My lower jaw, my front shoulders, and my stomach.
Okay, so I want you to breathe into that now. Feel that as fully as you can, that anger and rage in your lower jaw and in the front part. Just feeling that as fully as you can. This anger and rage in your jaw. Breathe deeply into it. I want you to raise it right up to a 9 or a 10. Don't run from it. This is your opportunity to feel this as fully as you can right now, Megan. And then once again, I want you to climb right to the top of your ancient wall, this ancient wall within you. Get right to the top, Megan, and then look behind this anger and this rage that you're holding in your jaw. What is the emotion that sits behind there?
Extreme fatigue.
And where do you feel this fatigue in your body right now? Where's this fatigue?
My legs.
Okay, so breathe deeply into this fatigue that you're holding in your legs. Feel this fatigue that you're holding in your legs, this extreme exhaustion that you're holding in your legs at this moment in time, breathing deeply into this fatigue that you're holding in your legs. And then once again, I want you to climb right to the top of your ancient wall. Climb right to the top, Megan, and take a flashlight if you need it. I want you to tell me what is the emotion or the feeling that sits behind this fatigue.
I felt it in my hands too, but I breathe through my hands as well. I'm feeling bravery.
Okay, good. And you're feeling that in your hands, yeah?
I'm in my hands and in my arms. My legs feel more strengthened, like my feet, my ankles, around my ankles, they're starting to feel more strengthened, but my hands and my arms definitely feel more strengthened. Yes.
Okay, good. So I want you to breathe deeply into this bravery now, this bravery that's coming into your hands and your arms and in your ankles and in your legs. I want you to feel this bravery. Breathe deeply into this bravery, this complete bravery.
No.
Raise it up to a 9 or a 10, Megan. Don't run away from it. I want you to feel this bravery, expand it, grow it up to a 9 or a 10. And then once again, I want you to climb to the top of your ancient wall, this ancient wall within you. Climb right to the top. And I want you to look behind this bravery. What's the feeling or the emotion that sits right behind this bravery?
I got afraid again because I looked behind me and I feel like I'm too high up
So, where do you feel that? This fear that you're too high up? Where do you feel that in your body right now?
in my head.
Okay, so I want you to feel this fear of being too high up in your head. I want you to breathe deeply into that, this fear of being too high up. Don't run away from it, Megan. I want you to raise it up to a 9 or a 10. And then once again, I want you to look over the top of it, look right behind it. What is the feeling or emotion that sits behind this fear of being too high up?
The fear of being too high up is connected to mistrust. I looked around. I'm all alone. There's nobody around me, nobody there to help me. I'm completely isolated. Just it's like it's a fear like I can only help myself, but I don't have the tools. I'm like literally up there and I have no rope, no knife, no No ladder, no phone, nothing. I'm isolated.
So where do you feel this isolation in your body right now? Where do you feel that in your body?
My head and my back.
Okay, so I want you to breathe into this feeling of isolation that you're holding in your head and in your back. I don't want you to run away from it. I want you to breathe deeply into it, raise it up to a 9 or a 10. This feeling of being completely isolated and alone and not being able to trust anyone. And then once again, I want you to climb to the top of your ancient wall, this ancient wall within you. Get right to the top, Megan, and look over the top of this mistrust and this isolation. What is the feeling or the emotion that sits right behind there?
Relief because I see people and I see my friend Manny. I don't know the other people, but they give me an energy of being kind. And I see my friend there smiling, greeting me. I feel relief.
Good. Where you feel this relief in your body right now? Where do you feel this relief?
My face, my neck, my chest, my back, my arms.
Okay, good. So feeling this relief, breathe deeply into this relief that you're feeling now in your face and your neck and your arms and your back and your front. Just feel that relief. Breathe deeply into this relief that you're feeling now, washing through your body. Breathe deeply into that, feeling it as fully as you can at this moment in time, Megan. And then once again, I want you to breathe deeply into it. And then I want you to climb right to the top of your ancient wall. Climb right to the top, Megan. Get right to the top. And then I want you to look behind this relief. What's the feeling or the emotion that sits right behind the relief?
Joy and a little bit of self-confidence. Joy and at least some self-confidence.
Okay, good. Where do you feel this in your body right now?
My eyes.
Okay, good. So I want you to feel this joy and this self-confidence coming into your eyes. Feeling this as fully as you can right now, Megan. Breathe deeply into this joy. Breathe deeply into this self-confidence that you're feeling now coming into your eyes and coming in to your eyes. This joy, this self-confidence, feeling that as fully as you can. And then once again, just climbing to the top of your ancient wall. Get right to the top, Megan, and take a flashlight if you need to. What's the feeling or the emotion that sits behind the joy in your eyes?
Joy, achievement. More joy and achievement.
And where do you feel this in your body?
The top of my head.
Okay, good. So feeling this joy and this achievement that you're feeling now in the top of your head. Feel this as fully as you can, Megan. Don't run away from it. Feel this joy, this achievement right at the top of your head. Allow it to expand and grow in all directions, feeling this as fully as you can. And then once again, I want you to climb right to the top of your wall. Get right to the top, right to the top. What's the emotion that sits behind that joy and that achievement?
A connection to God.
Okay, good. So feeling this connection to God, this feeling, this deep connection to God. And I want you to wash this lovely sensation of this deep connection to God all the way up and through all of that mistrust and isolation that you were holding in your head and in your back. And if it had a voice, what would it say to that mistrust and that isolation?
There is no mistrust. There is only life lessons. And you are not isolated with God. But definitely the first message, there is no mistrust. There are only life lessons.
Okay,
And
good. Now,
that reassurance you'll be all right with God.
okay, good. So just feeling this energy washing up now and all the way through and into all of that anger and that rage that you're holding in your jaw. And if it had a voice, what would it say to that anger and that rage?
You were rescued away from certain people. Release them. Don't think about them. Like uh this evil guy named Matt. He is this horrible, awful guy named Matt. Let him go from your mind. Release it. You didn't get to tell him off. Oh well, that's an ego thing. Tell ego it's time to release it. You didn't get to tell him off. Oh well, ego, release it. He is cut from your life. Just be joyful about that. Or any other awful people.
And then I want you to wash this beautiful sense of this deep connection to God up and up and up and through and into that sadness and that crying that you are holding in your face. And if it had a voice, what would it say to that sadness and that crying?
Focus on the joy. Look for the joy. Listen to joy. Be careful of the movies and the music you watch. Be careful of what you tell yourself. Joy, 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 joy. Center yourself strictly, primarily on joy.
Okay, good. And then I want you to wash this beautiful deep love up and up and up and through and into all of that fear of the evil and the taunting and the bullying and the dizziness that you had in the left side of your head. If it had a voice, what would it say to all of that bullying and taunting?
You are sometimes the bully too, but understand that you are mostly not the bully in your life, and mostly understand that people who bully are on a low vibration. Ascend yourself. I'm seeing a ladder. Ascend yourself. Don't worry. Stop dreading. Stop focusing. It goes back to joy. Return to joy.
Okay, good. Okay, so then I want you to wash all of this beautiful divine love up and through and into all that fear and anger that you were holding in your neck and in your head right at the beginning. And if it had a voice, what would it say to that?
Mm.
Can you repeat it one more time?
What would the joy, what would the love, this sense of divine connection say to all of that anger and that fear that you were holding in your head? What would it say to that?
Again, it tells me focus on the joy. Focus on joy. Joy, 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 joy. But it also says stop trying to impress people. S- Focus on your healing. Stop trying to overdo. It's showing me a gigantic steak. And it's saying you can't eat the whole steak at one time. It, it- it's it's showing me that to take my time. There's lessons to be learned in this. Focus on the joy, but not to. Okay, I'm getting a message saying make sure that ego is not trying to talk right now because ego is trying to nudge its way in. What is higher self telling me at this very moment, currently? Focus on joy. Do this for yourself. You're not trying to impress others. You're going at the pace that is correct for you. But I don't like that answer.
Okay. Well,
I
sometimes
don't
you're
like
not going
that
to always
answer.
like the answers that you receive, but this is again, it goes back to trust. There is no
Yeah.
shoulds, there is no place that you really have to be. It's just where you're at right now, and know that it's all
And
unfolding as it should.
and I'm getting a message from God, the universe, whatever you want to say. I'm getting a message from God saying the more and more and more you focus on joy, the faster you will heal. Because I have asked God numerous times, can't you just snap your fingers and make me normal? I want to wake up tomorrow and be able to drive hours away. I want to be able to get up and do whatever. And the answer has always been no, and there's a reason behind the no. But at least I'm being told now, if you focus solely on joy, joyful music, joyful hobbies, joyful movies, joy, the healing will accelerate.
Okay, good. Okay, so then I'm just going to count back up from 5 to 1, and then you're going to re-enter the space around you, just feeling so much more clarity, feeling better than before, and just feeling like the next layer of healing on this is being done. So 5, 4, 3, 2, start feeling the weight of your body on the chair, wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes, and on an out breath that's comfortable for you, you can open your eyes and back into a new moment. Okay. So well done. All right, good. So what we did there, we were layering back the emotions within the body that are contributing to, these physiological effects, that are, participating in the driving fast syndrome. So when we layer them back and you reconnect to the God source within you, that sense of divine love, it brings its wisdom into the parts of the body where you're holding those emotions so that you can release them. And the big message that came through for you today really was to return to joy, which is actually the beginning of the ascension process. Now, you may also remember from our previous sessions that we did that you were picking out a lot of yellow bottles. Do you remember? And a
I
lot of the
do.
yellow is
Yes. And you know what's interesting is I have truly been listening to what you've been saying.
good.
And as you've been saying, do you see the bottle that's really sticking out to me? That is like, I can see the other bottles, but this one is bullseye out to me. Is that silver and orange? It's the top row. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. It's the eighth bottle on the top row. It's got like silver on the top and orange on the bottom. That one is very much sticking out to me.
What one of these?
Nope, nope, go the other way. It's orange. Yes, that one.
Well, this one is called
No,
Satori.
oh no, 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 I'm sorry. Next row. I can't see your top row. It's your second next row down. Yes, that's it. So your top bottles are hiding from me because of the oh, yes, that one. I couldn't see your top bottle. I had the recording bar in the way.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that
that
one
one.
is T1 in the trauma team. So it's T1, and that's actually it's called soul transfer. Interesting. So at some point, sometimes if you've had a big shock, like a lot of people, if they've had a car accident or they've had a surgery or they've had an event that takes place where they were so shocked or traumatized that their soul can leave their body and then another soul can come in. So that's the
I've had
remedy.
major shocks. Yeah, I've had major, like I mentioned before when, my best friend nearly died in front of me. That was an extremely traumatic shock.
Well, that's exactly it. So when that bottle comes out, it's basically the bottle is called Soul Transfer and it's like a walk-in activation. So it's like a dimensional rebirth and soul embodiment. So Soul Transfer is a profound vibrational tool for those who have traversed the liminal space between life and death. Those who know what it feels like to leave the body and return changed, renewed, or entirely rebirthed. The bottle speaks to walk-ins and starseeds who have undergone a soul exchange, a sacred cosmic agreement where one soul completes its earthly mission and another, often higher dimensional or galactic aspect, steps in to continue the embodiment journey. It's not death, but a powerful transference of purpose, identity, and energetic signature. So the silver upper layer represents the frequency of divine feminine lunar wisdom and cosmic memory, a pure reflective gateway to the Akashic records and your original soul template. It holds the vibration of otherworldly intelligence, guiding the seamless integration of a new soul stream with grace and sacred support. The orange below anchors you into the sacral chakra, the realm of embodiment, creativity, emotion, and memory. It gently supports the release of trauma, shock, or disassociation that may have occurred during a near-death experience or out-of-body experience or spiritual crisis that triggered the walk-in event. So, soul transfer is a spiritualizing force for those who feel like a different person after a certain event or time frame, disconnected from their earthly life memories or emotional body, like they've arrived on Earth midstream with a deep mission with no clear origin, and sudden spiritual gifts or psychic awareness or galactic memories that emerged seamlessly overnight, and a longing for home that isn't earthly. So this bottle holds the keys to integrating your multidimensional self into your physical body, healing emotional residue left by the previous soul's experiences, reclaiming your mission as a galactic ambassador, healer, or guide, and reclaiming the nervous system after a spiritual shock, fully embodying your new frequency and divine purpose. Okay. So that's what it's all about. So it sounds like, this aspect of you that was once fine with driving far, and now this other aspect of you after the shock or trauma is now almost taking on a different aspect, a different mission. And that's why I think that you received information during your message that you didn't want to hear, that it's like everything is as it should be for where you need to be right now. Okay. So maybe there's a reason or a purpose behind the reason why you're not driving far at the moment. So going into a place of acceptance of that can be very beneficial.
Can I see it? Yeah. Well, that's what came at the end. Oh, thank you. That's what came at the end.
Yeah.
What was acceptance? That's what I was told. Because, I've said before, God, can't you just take this away from me? The answer always is no, acceptance. But at least I was given the answer. If you focus on joy, strictly joy, things that bring you joy, joyful things, it will greatly accelerate your healing.
Yeah.
And I noticed that because I listened to a certain radio channel and it became an OCD thing of why. So I changed channels. And do you know the other channel I changed to? Other channels, I should say, I changed to? They cheated. The songs are about they cheated, all negativity, or they're all just based on sex. And I was just like, this is maybe my OCD this time had a benefit of listening to positive music.
Hmm.
I listen to a channel that says they strictly only play positive music. They don't play anything that has any negative connotation. So, but more careful with, what I say, what I watch, what I tell myself, what I watch. Joy. But I
Good.
have to be strict about it. I can't be, oh, I'll be joy because I talked to Hayden tonight and 2 days later be watching horror movies again.
100%. Yeah. But that's good. It's a good realization. And remember that, these things will happen when they're supposed to. You can't go, oh, I should be here now. I should be doing that now. Because no, there may be a much bigger plan behind everything that's going on. And taking the pressure off yourself and just going back into joy is going to help accelerate that healing. And before you know it, you will be taking that trip to Orchard Park in your car and you'll be feeling fine. And the next day, you'll take a journey a bit further and you'll feel fine. But it's just like, I feel like I want to, I almost want to task you up, between now and the next time we speak, that, I want you to have driven to Orchard Park on your own, before we next speak, because I think you will feel a lot better within yourself. But do it for the joy of doing it and do it for you and not for anybody else. And then report
So
back.
don't, so you're saying by the next time we meet, drive to Orchard Park,
Yeah.
but do not do it for anybody else, do it for myself, and don't do it as an assignment. Do it because, oh, I'm happy, I'm gonna go check out the new bakery. Like there's
Yes.
there's a bakery in Orchard Park.
Yeah, go and buy yourself a nice pastry or something like that. That's your purpose. You do it on a day where you've got some time off just for yourself. Nobody else is going with you. You're going on your own and you're just going to go and buy a beautiful pastry and you're going to sit in the car and you're going to eat it all up and you're going to get pastry all over your face.
So, question for you. My friend doesn't know how to drive. So, is it still cheating if he comes to Orchard Park to get to, if we get to the bakery in Orchard Park for a pastry?
No, you can do
Because
that. You can do that.
yeah, because we can't cheat. I can't be like, "Oh, I'm panicking. Take the wheel," because he doesn't drive.
Yeah.
So the goal will be to get to the bakery in Orchard Park
Hmm.
and enjoy a pastry there.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. But do it not through obligation. It's for the pure joy of having a pastry in the car with your friend.
I like the way you put it. It's for having the pure joy of having a pastry.
Mm, yeah.
And I get to be excited about what, you know what I also do? I won't look on their website. That way I'll get to be excited about which pastries they have.
100% you will. You'll be, oh my God, they've got a jam donut or they've got a croissant full of ham and cheese.
Precisely.
How good is that? All right, Megan. Well, look, I'm going to let you go. I'll send you the recording through, okay?
All right.
All right. I'll catch you soon. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You
Bye.
too. Bye for now. I just got to get
Bye.